Alright, so here we are, lesson 13, from ratio tables to equations using the value of the ratio. Alright, so we've got exercise 1 here. It says Jorge is mixing a special shade of orange paint. He mixed 1 gallon of red paint with 3 gallons of yellow paint. Alright, so I just want you to underline the part down here where it says 1 gallon of red paint requires 3 gallons of yellow paint. Alright, that's the part that's true. Alright, and we're going to skip on to the next page, on page 13. So go ahead and flip over. We're going to look at exercise 2. It says, based on the information on red and yellow paint given in the warm-up, complete the tables below. So we know, based off of what we underline, that he uses 1 for red paint and 3 for yellow paint. Okay, so now in this lesson, we're going to try to start to write an equation. Okay, we're going to try to write that to help us fill in tables for ratios. So now we are looking across always. So we're looking across here to get from 1 to 3. What did we do? We multiplied by 3. Okay, so now here for 2, we're doing the same thing. From 2 to 3, or from 2 across, we are multiplying by 3. And we know 3 times 2 is 6. Alright, over here, we're going backwards. So now instead of multiplying by 3, we would divide by 3. And 9 divided by 3, we know is 3. Okay, and the next line we're doing the same thing. We are going backwards, so we are going to divide by 3. And 12 divided by 3 is 4. Alright, for 5, we're going back across and we are multiplying to go to the right. Not times 5 though, my bad. We are multiplying by 3. So 5 times 3 we know is 15. Alright, so now we have a variable r for red paint. We know that when we go across we are multiplying by 3. So for yellow paint we would have 3r, which is 3 times r. That's kind of like what we've been doing in our warm-ups. Now if we're going back the other way, we have yellow. So here we are dividing by 3. So our equation would be y over 3. We're dividing by 3 here. Okay, so that's all we had to do for this one, was just fill in the table. So we're going to move on to exercise 3 here. And now we are going from blue to red. So again, we are asking ourselves, how are we getting from 1 to 4? And that means we would be multiplying by 4. So here, I'm going to fill in some numbers down this side. I'm going to put in 2, 10, 11, and 12. Alright, so if we are multiplying from 2 across, we're multiplying by 4. We know that 4 times 2 is 8. We do the same thing here for 12. We're multiplying by 4 across. And 12 times 4 is 48. Right, I'm going to erase these middle two. I want you to erase the 10 and 11. Jumped ahead of myself here. Instead, I'm going to fill in 40 and 44 for red. So we are asking ourselves now, if we are going back the other way, we are going to divide to go to the left. So we're asking 40 divided by 4 gives us 10. And then if we do the same thing for 44, if we divide by 4, 44 divided by 4 gives us 11. So now we have our variables. We have our first variable is b. To go across to red, we would multiply by 4. So we would get 4b. And if we went back the other way from r, we would be dividing by 4. So we would get r over 4. Okay, so that's it for page 13. I want to look on to the next page now, page 14. This is the last example we're going to do all together. Part A says, during a particular U.S. Air Force training exercise, the ratio of number of men to number of women was 6 to 1. Use the ratio table provided to create at least 2 equations that model the relationship between the number of men and the number of women participating in the training exercise. So we know the ratio. It says for women we had 1, and for men we had 6. So we are asking ourselves, going across, what are we doing to get from 1 to 6? We are multiplying by 6. So if I fill in the number 2 here, we multiply across times 6, we would get 12 men. We have 3 women, and we multiply across by 6, we would get 18 men. If we had 4 women and multiplied across by 6, we would get 24 men. Alright, and if we had W, we're multiplying across by 6, so our equation would be 6 times W. Now if we're going back the other way from men, now we are dividing by 6, so we would end up with M over 6. Okay, and this part here, so maybe we want to write so we see our equations here. It says if 200 women participated in the training exercise, use one of your equations to calculate the number of men. So we have 6W, right? That's what we found out. And we know how many women we have, so we're going to use this one. So 6W, we're going to use 6 times 200 because that's what they told us. And 6 times 200 gives us 1,200, and the label would be men. So there are 1,200 men at this training exercise. Alright, we are going to skip the rest of this and we are going to do it in class. So you can just bring any questions that you may have about what we did in the video so far, and we'll do the rest in class tomorrow.